could have given 5 to each, or 1 to each, 2 to each, because at the end of the day, they were all his servants. And obviously, when we are working in a company, or when we are working in a particular place, if we are under one person, maybe the expectation, the job expectation, if I'm a nurse by job, but the expectation as a nurse will be similar. We may work in different place, but then the expectation will be similar. But then the master was very wise, and he what he did was he gave them according to their ability. So my first point that I kind of felt in my, what God spoke to me was these 2 servants out of the 3. We're just going to see about the 2 servants who did really well, who performed well. They were able to recognize what what the master had given it to them. They were able to recognize the talent, the value of the talent that the master had entrusted on him, and also made sure that they used that as that talent or the opportunity that was given to them. So and they understood what the worth of this talent was. So in my first thought, I would say that God has given each and every one of us talents, and God has brought us into this world with some or the other talent. None of us, as per the Word of God, is born without anything. And we are born and on this world with a plan and a purpose, with a talent which is embedded in us. And as servants of God, as children of God, it is very important that we understand the value of the talent that God has placed in each and every one of us. And when God has given us this talent, it is only for the purpose of His name's glory that He has given us these talents. And God expects us, there is an expectation, just like the master had an expectation from these servants, there is an expectation that we use it for His name's glory. Amen. So that is what the 2 servants, I would think, they worked according to that. They understood that I'm given 5 talents, so let me use that to my best of my ability. The other person had 2 talents, and he used it according to the best of his ability. Now, secondly, when they had this talent and they understood that, okay, this is an opportunity that the master has given to us, this master being a very rich man, maybe if he was not going anywhere, they wouldn't have had that talent given to them. Maybe, the master was the person who does the business, and he wouldn't have entrusted that talent on him. But they understood that master is expecting, and he trusts in them, and they recognize that, and they try to use it. In the words, there is specifically mentioned that the talents were given according to the ability. So each and every one of us, God gives us the talent according to our ability. So the servants did not stand there after this master had gone and say, look, you got 5, I only got 2, and the third servant, there was no kind of comparison. So because the master gave you 5, I think he loves you more, so I'm not going to do anything because I only got 2. There was no comparison between these 2 people. They understood that this is what I am able of, and they performed according to their ability. So my second point is that we need to make sure that we understand what our ability is. This is very interesting because I remember there was a time when I was asked by Pastor or any opportunity that I was given in the church, I used to think, if I was asked about leading the worship, I used to think, yes, that's a brilliant opportunity. But my thought always used to go, and I used to think, when it's a worship, leading the worship, there are some reflections which come into our head, and we compare it with leading worship leaders or leading performers who are well known and who are very accepted by everybody in in our churches or in the ministry, and you just think, I used to think maybe I need to perform like that person. And then once the time was given and the whole worship service was over, or the time, whatever task I was given in the church or whatever opportunity, I used to think everybody would come and say it was nice, God, it was really a blessing. But then my thought was, oh no, I could not perform as that person. So always there was a dejection in my life, and I used to think, because my comparison is to the person who has got a different ability. So the moment when God spoke to me and I could understand that God gives us our talents according to our ability, and God's expectation is only according to our ability.